If you find something outside your house that doesn't belong to you, don't take it inside. I wish I'd learned that sooner. It sounds like common sense, right? The kind of advice your parents give you as a kid. Don't talk to strangers. Don't pick up random junk off the ground. Don't put things in your mouth that you didn't buy, sealed from a store. But here's the thing. When it's 3 in the morning and you're walking up your driveway, tired, distracted, and you see something small, glinting in the dirt. Logic doesn't always win. I should have walked past it. I should have let the rain bury it, or let someone else make the mistake. But curiosity is stubborn. Curiosity whispers, what if it's important? What if it's valuable? And curiosity always wins. That one object, the thing I bent down and picked up without a second thought, ruined everything. I thought I knew about safety, about privacy, about my own future. My life hasn't been the same since that night. And the worst part is, I know it never will be again. You're going to wonder what was on it. You're going to think you'd resist, that you'd throw it away. But you wouldn't. You'd do exactly what I did. Let me tell you exactly how it all began. Asterisk, it was one of those days where nothing stands out. The kind of day you barely remember once it's gone. I'd worked late. The air outside was damp with the promise of rain. And the only thing on my mind was how fast I could get inside, peel off my shoes, and collapse into bed. That's when I saw it, right there, at the edge of my driveway, half hidden in the gravel. A USB drive now. You'd expect it to look dirty, maybe scratched up, maybe even cracked. But this thing, it looked new, shiny. The plastic casing had no scuffs, no fingerprints, nothing. It was like someone had just unwrapped it and carefully set it down, waiting for me. I crouched and picked it up, turning it over in my hand. No label, no brand name, just a smooth, black stick with a silver edge. It weighed less than I expected. I almost left it there. I remember thinking, God, I should have left it there. Instead, I slipped it into my pocket like it was the most natural thing in the world. Curiosity buzzing in my head louder than common sense. Later, standing in front of my computer, I stared at it, sitting in my palm. What kind of idiot plugs in a random USB? I thought, then I sighed. Well, apparently. This idiot, I slid it in. The screen blinked to life. A new folder appeared instantly, waiting for me. The second I clicked that first file, I knew I'd made a mistake. Asterisk, the folder opened, and at first glance, it looked boring. Honestly, I almost laughed. There were neatly labeled folders. Taxes _ 2019. Family _ vacation. Work _ reports. The kind of clutter you'd find on any office laptop or personal hard drive. For a second, I relaxed. Maybe someone had just dropped it on their way home. Maybe it really was nothing. Curiosity got the better of me. I clicked into the family photos. Rows of images loaded. Birthday parties, road trips, kids blowing out candles. Except the faces were blurry, too blurry. Like someone had smeared Vaseline over their features. Every smile was distorted. Every eye, a dark, shapeless smudge. My stomach twisted. I backed out and opened taxes _ 2019. Not spreadsheets, not PDFs, just empty files named after random numbers. Some were titled with dates, but the timestamps were wrong. Not from the past, not even from the present. Every single one was dated for next year. I frowned, clicking again, thinking it had to be a system error. That's when I found the folder labeled Houses. Dozens of photos filled the screen. Different neighborhoods, different homes, all shot from the street at odd hours. Some were bathed in daylight, others captured under dim orange streetlights. They looked, watched, and then I saw it. My house, my front door, my crooked little welcome mat sitting right where I'd left it. The photo was dated 2 days ago. At first, I thought it was just someone's lost backup, until I saw my own front door staring back at me from one of the files. I froze, mouse hovering, heart in my throat. A part of me screamed to yank the USB out right then and there. But another part, stronger, reckless, wanted to know more. That wasn't even the worst part, not by a long shot. Curiosity beat out common sense, so I clicked deeper. Asterisk, the deeper I dug, the stranger it got. A new folder caught my eye. No neat labels this time. Just a series of numbers and letters strung together like someone had smashed their fists across a keyboard. Inside were videos. The first one stuttered to life, grainy and low-res, like it had been ripped from some decade-old security camera. A bedroom filled the screen. A figure lay under the covers, chest rising and falling in the soft rhythm of sleep. For a moment, I told myself it was nothing, just stock footage. But then the camera shifted slightly, like someone was holding it. Someone was inside that room. I clicked another. This one was clearer. A different house, different person, same situation, someone asleep. Completely unaware of the camera a few feet away. One by one, I watched each video sharper, more intimate. Bedrooms, living rooms, hallways. Always filmed at night. Always from inside. I muttered under my breath, No, this isn't real. This can't be real. Then I froze. The next video loaded and my blood turned to ice. The room was instantly familiar. The crooked blinds, the chipped dresser, the faint water stain on the ceiling. It was my bedroom. The angle was perfect. The camera perched somewhere near the foot of my bed. And there I was, sprawled out on the mattress, sound asleep. I watched myself shift slightly, mumble something in my sleep, completely oblivious. It wasn't just my house. It wasn't just my room. It was last night. My stomach churned. I yanked my headphones off and shoved my chair back so hard it nearly tipped. I glanced over my shoulder, convinced someone was still in the room with me, watching. Every instinct screamed to stop, to delete everything, to burn the damn USB. If I'd stopped there, maybe things would be different. But the last folder, that's where it all really started. Its name was simple, unassuming. Just one word. Tomorrow. Asterisk. My hand shook as I double-clicked the folder. Inside were more files, neatly organized, but the dates made my stomach knot. Every single one was marked for tomorrow. The first video showed a busy intersection downtown. I recognized it instantly. I drove past it almost every day. The clip ran for less than a minute. A car ran a red light. The impact was brutal. Metal folding in on itself. Glass exploding like fireworks. A time stamp in the corner read, tomorrow, 4:17 p.m., the second file showed a man standing in a convenience store, chatting with the cashier. It seemed ordinary until a masked figure burst through the door. A flash of steel, screams. The video cut off just as the man collapsed, blood spreading across the linoleum. The timestamp: tomorrow, 9:46 p.m., file after file. I watched glimpses of accidents, crimes, and deaths. Each short, each precise. They weren't recordings of the past. They were predictions. And then I opened the last one. The video flickered to life. The room dimly lit, but familiar. My stomach dropped. It was my desk, my chair, my clutter, and me. I was sitting exactly where I sat now, hands on the keyboard, typing with a frantic intensity. The camera angle was wrong yet. It was like the laptop itself was watching me. My lips moved, but I couldn't hear the words. I leaned closer to the screen, squinting. Then, I caught one phrase as my mouth shaped it. The USB drive I found outside my house changed everything. That's when I realized I wasn't watching someone else's nightmare. I was watching mine. I slammed the folder shut, chest heaving. I told myself it had to be fake, until the next day proved me wrong. Asterisk, I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every creak in the walls made me flinch. Every shadow looked like someone standing just out of sight. But the thing that gnawed at me most was the TIMESTAMP. Tomorrow morning came, and I told myself it was just some elaborate prank. Maybe some kind of viral marketing stunt, or an ARG. That's what I clung to until the first prediction came true. At 9:02 a.m., I heard a thud outside. I looked out my window and saw my neighbor, Mrs. Langley, sprawled on the sidewalk, groceries scattered everywhere. A can of soup rolled into the street, exactly like in the video I'd half ignored the night before. I told myself it was coincidence. It had to be. But at 4:17 p.m., I was driving home, and as I reached that familiar intersection, I froze. Asterisk, the light turned red. A car barreled through. Another slammed into it. The crash unfolded exactly as I'd seen it down to the glass, spraying across the pavement like jagged confetti. People screamed. Horns blared. Sirens wailed in the distance. Asterisk, I gripped the steering wheel so hard, my knuckles burned, bile rising in my throat. This wasn't coincidence. This wasn't a prank. The USB wasn't showing me the past. It was showing me the future. And not just any future, the kind you can't escape. Because that night, back at my desk, I glanced around my room, heart hammering. My clutter was the same. My posture matched the video. And when I caught my reflection in the dark screen before it blinked awake, I saw it me, hunched over, typing exactly like the footage had shown. I whispered to myself, this isn't real. It can't be real. But deep down, I knew. I was syncing up with it, second by second. And then, the USB gave me a choice. Asterisk. The folder appeared on its own. I hadn't clicked anything, hadn't moved the mouse. It just blinked into existence on the screen. Choice.inside were only 2 subfolders. Accept, reject. My throat went dry. My hand hovered over the mouse, trembling. I clicked accept first. The screen filled with grainy footage, dozens of people, faceless in the shadows, each sitting at computers in dimly lit rooms, their heads tilted toward the glow of their screens, hands twitching on keyboards. Then the camera panned slowly, and one of the figures looked up. It was me. I slammed the window shut, my pulse roaring in my ears. I forced myself to open Reject. This one was shorter, brutal in its simplicity. A video of me slumped over my desk, blood pooling beneath the chair. The timestamp. Tonight, I muttered aloud, half crazed. If I reject, am I dead already? My voice cracked in the empty room. The folders sat there, waiting. No timer, no countdown. Just patient, silent inevitability. My finger hovered over the mouse, every instinct warring inside me. The logical part of my brain begged me to walk away, to destroy the USB, to forget any of this existed. But another voice whispered, "There's no escaping it." I wish I could tell you I made the right choice. But what happened next wasn't about right or wrong. It was about consequences, and they came for me either way. Asterisk, I don't sleep much anymore. When I do, I wake up gasping, convinced there's someone in the room with me. My blinds stay closed, but I still catch glimpses, shapes lingering at the edge of the yard, figures standing too still beneath the streetlight. Sometimes I hear footsteps on the porch. Sometimes I swear I hear the front door creak, like someone's testing it. And when I check, nothing. Always nothing. But the worst part isn't what I see outside. It's what I feel inside. That constant pull toward the screen. The way the glow of my monitor feels less like light and more like an eye, staring back at me. I catch myself looking over my shoulder more than I should. And sometimes, just for a second, I swear I see you. Not literally, but like you're here sitting across from me, reading every word I type. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the drive isn't just showing me my future, it's showing me yours too. If you're watching this, maybe you're already part of it too. Maybe that's how it spreads. Not through the USB, not through files or folders, but through stories. Through attention. Through people like me, pulling people like you into the same spiral. I keep telling myself it's paranoia, that there's still a line between what's real and what's inevitable. But every day that line fades a little more, and the cycle never stops. Asterisk, check outside your house tomorrow. If you see something waiting, don't pick it up, but you will. We all do. That's how it works. The USB isn't mine anymore. Maybe it never was. It just waits, patient, quiet, until someone else finds it. Until someone else gives in to curiosity. You can tell yourself you'd resist, that you'd leave it lying there, that you'd walk away. But I know better. I told myself the same thing once. And now, here I am, typing, confessing, warning. Maybe that's the real curse. Not the files, not the futures, but the story itself. Every person who hears it takes a piece with them. Every listener becomes a watcher. So when the time comes, and it will remember this moment. Remember what I told you. Because the next time you see a USB drive outside your house, it's already too late.